Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, as always, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So everybody please rise. And Councilman Lombardi, would you lead us?
With pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just ask that at this time of the meeting we generally have a moment of silence for those men and women who are fighting for our freedoms each and every night. This past week, actually 2 days ago, we lost someone very, very special in our community. World War II veteran Mario Porto was 97 years old. And he lived in walking distance to here. He lived around the corner from Kenny, and we got very friendly with him, and he brought us into his family over the past couple of years. And we treasured every moment with him. As they say, he was part of the greatest generation, and he truly was an example of that. We had many, many Veterans Day events, Memorial Day events, Kenny, you remember, where we wanted him to come up and be recognized. And of course, Mario did not want to be recognized because men of that generation and women who fought in those wars did it without recognition and did it for the love of their country. Mario turned 97 in March. Kenny and I went and bought him, his favorite was ice cream cake. So we went to Quality around the corner and we brought him an ice cream cake. Well, it's like we gave him, $1 million. We brought him that cake. And he wanted us to stay and have the cake with him. And we said, no, it's up to you and how you feel. Now, Kenny, Mario has been driving up until 6 months ago. Now, the slowest car in the town of Carmel, if you got behind him, that was Mario. God forbid you beat your horn at him. Now, his car was not always in his driveway because it was getting repaired quite often. But we went and we met with him, and a few months later on, in July, we were told that he was basically on his deathbed. So Kenny and I went to visit him, thinking that it was the last time we were going to see him. So we asked him how he was feeling. He goes, well, I can't sleep. Now, he was, of course, not well. I can't sleep well. We're like, why can't you sleep? Because every time I fall asleep, my wife wakes me up. I said, well, she wants to make sure you're okay. The thing that he wanted at that time, and it's the funniest story that I'll tell you about Mario, is that we said, Mario, you have to get better, and we're going to go out to dinner. And he wanted to go to a steakhouse. And I said, no worries, we'll let Kenny pay for it. So Mario says, while laying on the bed, half conscious, he goes, when he opens up his wallet, the birds are going to say, cheep, 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 cheep. So that was Mario.
That was, yes.
And he went to the hospital, Putnam Hospital, and he just refused to stay there. He basically told him, I want to go home. That was in July. A couple of weeks ago, I called him, and he wasn't well, but I had to yell loud because he couldn't hear. And sure enough, Kenny told me on Monday morning that he passed away. And it is a tremendous, tremendous loss for our town. A man of quality, a gentleman, a man who he loved this community, and he will be missed. So, yeah, we can be sad for his passing, but God bless, he was 97, and like I said, he was driving up to 6 months ago. We should all be so lucky. We should all have the life that Mario Porto had with his children and grandchildren, and I think some great-grandchildren in there too. But when you're 97, there's a lot of people around you. So I want to celebrate Mario's life tonight. And while we can be sad, and Kenny and I became very close with him, we will never forget Mario Porto in the town of Carmel. Amen.
Thank you very much for that, Frank. That pretty much covered it with Mario. World War II veteran, 97 years old, and Frank's right. He was driving up until 6 months ago, and One other thing that Mario loved to do was he loved to have a beer or two in his garage, because he'd call me at my house, because I lived around the corner from him, and say, Kenny, what are you doing? I said, not much, Mario. What are you up to? He goes, can you meet me in my garage? So I go, I knew exactly what that was for, because he wanted to have a beer with somebody. So I'd go down to his house, he'd open up the garage door, I'd go in, we'd sit down, he's got a little refrigerator in there with beer in it. I go, Mario, why do you always drink beer in your garage? He goes, because my wife would never let me drink beer. Doesn't let me drink beer in the house. She doesn't even know I'm drinking beer. All right, so I'd have a beer or two with him. So great guy. I'm going to miss him terribly. What a wonderful man, the greatest generation, World War II veteran. And, so, you know, really, he took a liking to Frank and I for some reason. I guess we're likable people. And he really took that liking to us. And he's very special man to Frank and I. And we're going to miss him tremendously in the community and around town. So God bless Mario. Rest in peace, Mario Porto. So, okay, so we do have a voting meeting agenda to get to here. But prior to coming out here, we met at 6:30 with Rich Franzetti, our town engineer, and also John Falchetti, PE, our engineering consultant. This is to discuss consent orders from the New York State DEC. So we covered that. All board members are in attendance with the exception of Councilman Borelli, who couldn't be with us tonight. He's got a family obligation that he was attending to tonight, so he couldn't be here. And by the way, tonight is Councilman Borelli's final town board public meeting. So, I want to publicly at this time thank Councilman Borelli for his 4 years of service to the town of Carmel as a town board member, town councilman, and Mike contributed a lot, brought a lot to the table from his business mind. He's got a very, very good business mind, and he knows the town well inside and out. And I want to thank him for his contributions over the last 4 years to the town of Carmel, and wish him the best of luck, as he leaves the town as an elected town board member. So, Mike Borelli, thank you so much for your 4 years of service to the town of Carmel. And Councilman Shannell is also working. He's got a side gig that he does, and he's working that tonight. So he's going to try to get here, Frank, right? He's going to try to get here before the end of the meeting, so we may see Councilman Shannell come in at some point. But with us also is Ann Spofford, all the way down to my right. Ann is our excellent town clerk. Ann, thank you so much for being here. And all the way down to my left is a gentleman that I call brother now. He's my bro, Greg Falchetti. He's our town council. Does an amazing job. He actually handled the closing for my son on his brand new house today. Brett, congratulations on your new house. Congrats, buddy. You and Kate. Brett's a new homeowner in the town of Carmel, and Greg handled the closing, so thank you so much for that. And in the audience, we have a bunch of our managers with us, department heads as well. So thank you all for being here, and it's been great. I'm going to have some words later on, so at the end of the meeting, I'm going to have a few more things to say. And we also have Town Supervisor-elect Mike Kazari. Mike is here with us with his wife Doreen. Mike, thanks so much for being here. Mike is going to be my successor, as you all know, on January 1, and I wish him the best of luck in his capacity as Town Supervisor. And, I'm sure, things are going to get done under his leadership as they have gotten done with me over the past 14 years. So, Mike, best of luck in that. Okay, so let's get to the agenda. We have, as I said, we have 11 agenda items. So, resolution number 1, I'll read tonight also. I normally don't read them, but I'll read tonight because there's only 3 of us. Okay, we're going to, first item is to accept the town board minutes of November 3rd and 17th, and also December 1st and December 8th of 2021. I need a motion to accept those. So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Also, I'm sorry. We have State Senator Peter Harkin is with us tonight. Senator Harkin, thanks for being here. I apologize. And we also have Assemblyman Kevin Byrne is here with us tonight as well. So both you gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight as well. And Legislator Carl Albano. Sorry, Carl. Legislator Carl Albano is all the way over there to my left. Yeah, Frank just said, why don't you read number 1? So, resolution,
That was
I didn't get kicked.
procedural.
I didn't get kicked.
Oh, there's just a piece of wood between me. I'll move.
All right, so resolution number 1, making permanent appointment of police chief in the town of Carmel. Chief Anthony Hoffman's been doing an excellent job since we appointed him last December. We made him permanent in August of this year, and he completed his probationary period successfully, which I knew he was going to. So this resolution now memorializes that and makes it official. So, Councilwoman McDonough, would you read Resolution 1, please?
Sure. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby permanently appoints Anthony Hoffman as Chief of Police in and for the Town of Carmel, New York, pursuant to Putnam County Civil Service Rules and Regulations, Appendixes 10, 11, 12, 13, probationary term, Section 1A, and in accordance with the New York State Civil Service Law. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi.
With pleasure.
Councilwoman McDonough.
With pleasure, yes.
And Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, with pleasure. Congratulations, Police Chief Anthony Hoffman. You are now permanent, and you've completed your probationary period, so you are our Chief of Police. Yeah, Chief Hoffman's on vacation this week.
He was on duty.
I know
Otherwise,
everybody
he
was
would've.
looking
He's
around.
on duty, sorry, he's on duty. But congratulations, Chief Hoffman. Okay, next resolution, number 2, is a resolution authorizing acceptance of a proposal for workers' compensation insurance. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the acceptance of the proposal of Public Employee Risk Management Association, Inc., PERMA, for the provision of workers' compensation insurance coverage for the Town of Carmel for fiscal years 2022 and 2023. Said proposal in form and substance and is on file in the Office of the Town Supervisor. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by myself, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
And Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 3, is a resolution adopting assessment roles for the operation and maintenance of the improvements of the garbage, sewer, and water districts for fiscal year 2022. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 3?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby adopts the assessment rolls for the operation and maintenance of improvements serving Carmel sewer districts number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and extensions thereto, as well as Carmel water districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, and extensions thereto, as well as to the Town of Carmel garbage district of said town for fiscal year 2021, as originally prepared by the town assessor Glenn Drosely and filed with the town clerk as in the final assessment rolls for the year 2022. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution authorizing emergency expenditure of monies from the Carmel Sewer District number 4 Repair Reserve Fund. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 4?
Sure. Whereas the Town of Carmel has a repair reserve fund for Carmel Sewer District Number 4 established pursuant to GML 6D, and whereas in cases of emergency, monies in such fund may be expended by resolution approved by not less than 2/3 of the members of the governing body, and whereas it is recommended by the Town Comptroller's Office that monies in the fund be used to pay for the cost of emergency repairs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel authorizes the appropriation of monies from the Repair Reserve Fund not to exceed $43,750 for emergency services calls in 2021. Be further resolved that not less than 1/2 of the monies so expended be repaid in fiscal year 2023, and the total amount shall be repaid in full not later than the last day of fiscal year 2024. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution authorizing budget modifications, number 2021/05. Whereas the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, has reviewed the proposed budget modifications for the period ending November 30th, 2021, with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained in the attached budget revision schedule, 2021/05, Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board, the Town of Carmel, hereby authorizes and ratifies the budget modifications and revisions for the period ending November 30th, 2021, as shown as itemized on Schedule 21/05, which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by myself, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
And Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing entry into modified order on consent. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 6?
Whereas on or about June 19, 2019, the Town Board enacted an order of consent with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation addressing and remediating certain violations at Carmel Sewer District Number 5 treatment plant concerning the treatment of effluent discharge at said plant. And whereas the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has subsequently proposed a modified order on consent addressing and remediating certain violations and imposing new effluent treatment standards for the facility at Carmel Sewer District Number 5 treatment plant. And whereas the town engineer has advised that the town of Carmel has already met and/or is about to meet the proposed milestone dates for compliance activities scheduled in the proposed modified order on consent. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 5, hereby authorizes entry into the modified order on consent in form as on file in the office of the Town Supervisor. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to execute said modified order on consent and any necessary documentation related thereto. I offer the resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, offered by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution in support of an application to Putnam County Industrial Development Agency for the Philbin Group, LLC, and Fishkill Realty, GP, LLC. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 7?
Yes. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has been advised by the principals of Philbin Group, LLC, and Fishkill Realty, GP, LLC, that an application to the Putnam County Industrial Development Agency will be submitted in connection with the construction of the approved assisted living facility known as the Braymore at Carmel. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Carmel, but that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel offers this resolution and hereby states its full support of the aforesaid application by Philbin Group, LLC, and Fishkill Realty, LLC, to the Putnam County Industrial Development Agency, so that the project may have the access to agency programs necessary to achieve financial feasibility for its construction and operations. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign and submit a letter of support in general form as attached hereto and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution adopting the amended user fee schedule. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby adopts, effective January 1, 2022, the Town of Carmel user fee schedule for fiscal year 2022 in form as attached hereto, made a part hereof. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by myself, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution regarding Town of Carmel procurement 2022 Voluntary Retirement Incentive Program. This will be for the Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 9?
Whereas the Town Board for the Town of Carmel, herein referred to as Town Board, has developed a voluntary retirement incentive program for all members of the Uniform Patrol Division of the Town of Carmel Police Department who are eligible to retire under New York State Retirement System plan offered by the town. Wherefore, the program and requirements, therefore, are fully described in the general announcement to eligible employees and the attached hereto. And wherefore, the Town of Carmel Benevolent Association has agreed to the terms of the program and has executed a memorandum of agreement regarding same. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt to take all necessary steps for the implementation and execution of the program, including but not limited to, on behalf of the Town of Carmel, 1, executing the memorandum of agreement with the PBA, 2, signing any individual retirement agreement and general release, and 3, authorizing payment required under the program. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried.
And just quickly, we spoke about this last week. We had it on a work session item. This incentive does, in fact, save the town and the taxpayers money, even with the payments to them. The savings will be realized in the 2023 budget. And we signaled to the PBA and to any other officers that this is not a infinite program, that at some point, if the numbers are not what they need to be or should be, then the program will cease to exist. But for now, we did calculate the numbers, and there is a big savings to the town of Carmel taxpayers for this retirement incentive, so that's why we are doing it.
Makes sense. Okay. Dan, you read it, right? Okay, sorry. Thanks, Frank. Okay, next resolution number 10 is a resolution authorizing signing of an intermunicipal agreement between the County of Westchester and the Town of Carmel for use of a firing range facility for the Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 10?
Shall resolve that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, to sign on behalf of the Town of Carmel the intermunicipal agreement between the Town of Carmel and the County of Westchester for the use of the firing range facility owned and operated by the County of Westchester in Valhalla, New York, for a term commencing immediately through July 31, 2025. In accordance with the terms of said agreement, a copy of which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. And be further resolved that a copy of said intermunicipal agreement be filed with the town clerk Ann M. Spotford after signature by the town supervisor. Over for this resolution is read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, so the 11th and final resolution, I'm going to have Councilman Lombardi read this. It's a resolution requesting amendments to the New York State criminal justice reforms. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 11?
And I'll explain after I read it why it was drafted. Whereas sweeping reforms were enacted to the New York State criminal justice statutes during the 2019 state legislative session. Whereas several of the drastic changes in laws pertaining to discovery and bail are overly broad and vague and have unintended consequences at the municipal level, all of which have been evident over the course of the past 2 years. Whereas the dramatically shortened time periods in which prosecutors must disclose evidence to defendants and the broad expansion of matters to which discovery mandates have applied have a significant cost, tax, and justice implication for cities and villages with police departments, local justice court, and code parking enforcement departments. And whereas cities, towns, and villages have not realized savings from the bail reform reduction of the burden on county jails, and whereas law-abiding citizens of the Town of Carmel, County of Putnam, and the entire state of New York have been made less safe in their communities due to these bail reform measures. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel supports the following set of amendments which were initially proposed in 2020 by the New York State Conference of Mayors, which are consistent with the intent of judicial reform and justice reform, which will also allow for more effective and affordable implementation. Number one, ensure that cities and villages are provided with additional financial and operational support to offset the cost of these mandated measures. Number two, allow 60 days for prosecutors to disclose evidence to the defense for criminal charges. 3, exclude from ancillary discovery requirements any charge not involved in a misdemeanor or felony. Next, adjust the 20-day arraignment requirement to accommodate local courts that meet on a monthly basis. Next, allow prosecutors to withhold sensitive information, such as victim contact information, without having obtained a court order. And lastly, judges must be given discretion to order pretrial detention by amendment of the bail reform measure which have put citizens at the state of New York at risk. And therefore be it resolved that this duly appointed resolution of the Town of Carmel be forwarded to Governor Kathy Hochul, Senate Majority Leader Andrew Stewart Cousins, Assembly Speaker Carl Hesty, State Senator Peter Harkin, and Assembly Member Kevin Byrne, in the New York State Conference of Mayors, all other municipalities in Putnam County, and all local media outlets. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
I'll second that also, seconded by myself and Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
And Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, yes. Oh, this is my last one? My last yes? No, this is my last yes. Susie she just brought me over
We
some
have
tissues.
more.
Yeah,
Let me
I
explain-
got this
let me
out of my
explain.
system 3 weeks ago. Craig was here. And Michelle were here too. So, yeah, I got it out of my system, so I'm good. And a little glass of Jameson before the meeting helped too. So,
Must have been at home.
But
At
it
home.
was at home. Don't,
It was at home.
It was at home. Don't tell anybody that.
Let me explain.
It was at home. Okay.
No. Let me explain number 11. So number 11 was drafted after speaking to many residents of town and in viewing what's been happening all across the country, including the tragedy in Wisconsin and many news stories and articles and accounts of issues that have happened in the city of New York where defendants are being released without bail and causing more peril and more criminal behavior after they've been released. Now, the bail reform measure was tried. It failed. It needs to be addressed and for the law-abiding citizens of, I can speak for the residents of Carmel, but I will speak for the entire residents of Putnam County and indeed the state of New York as a taxpayer here. It's time to address that, Kevin, Senator. There has to be some common sense in between. And the biggest part that I've always seen and spoken to judges about, they need to have more discretion in not allowing criminal defendants out on the street to commit a more heinous and dangerous crime. And I don't need to explain the examples that we've seen over the past year or two. You all watched the news. You've all seen the stories. Wisconsin comes to mind. Some others in New York City come to mind. It's just time, guys. It was tried. We need some more common sense approach to the bail reform. I'll be more than happy to address this with any legislative body that you'd like me to. All right?
Okay.
That's all.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Councilman Lombardi. Appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that forward. Yeah. No. Earlier, I'm sorry, I was remiss. We have Councilman-elect Steve Baranowski is here. Steve, thank you for being here as well. So you're going to have 2 new board members come January 1, and I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to do an excellent job, as I think I have for the past 14 years, and Councilman Borelli as well. So thank you for being here. And we have some of our other managers here. Mary Ann Maxwell, the town comptroller, is here with us also. Kathleen Kraus is back there, the receiver of taxes. Kathleen, thanks for being here. Alice is here from the town clerk's office. Alice, thanks for being here. Craig Papria, the chairman of the planning board, is here with us tonight. So, and I have my boys here too. 2 of my boys are here. My sons, Brett is here, and my son Brad is here, all the way in the back. My son Chris is at work. He works down in Westchester County, and he wasn't able to be here with us tonight. So my sons are here, and my niece Jessica is here. Jessica McDonough is here. Jess, thanks for being here. Also my goddaughter, thanks for being here, Jess. I have some friends here. John and Michelle in the back are here. Guys, thanks for being here. My ex-wife is here too. And my ex-mother-in-law, Dottie O'Keefe. Lynn Mongan is here. Lynn, thanks for being here. You know, even though she's my ex-wife, we get along really well. All right, probably get along better now than we did when we were married. But thanks for being here, Lynn. And Dottie, thanks for being here, Mom. Appreciate it. So thank you. But Oh, you're welcome. So, and we have a lot of my other staff is here too. Engineering department, Donna, Lori's here. Joanna from my office is here. And you guys all know Ann Pasquarella over there. Rose is here. Rose, Mary Ann. Gary Kiernan is here. Ray Cote from the planning board. Kathleen, I mentioned Kathleen, Rose. So I think I get, oh, Joel's here. Joel from Temple Beth is here. Joel, and he's been here with me, not working for me, but, you know, involved over the years. And Tabby is here from the Maypac News. Tabby, thank you for being here.
Anybody else who you did not call? Raise your hand.
So,
We're good.
No, we're not finished yet, Supervisor.
Ann is here from my office, Ann Pasquarella. She's been with me for the whole 14 years.
God bless you, Ann.
Yes.
God bless Ann is right. We behave like a married couple at times. We fight, we yell at each other, but at the end of the day, I respect Ann, Ann respects me, and we get a lot of work done on your behalf, for you. You know, but Ann is wonderful. I'm going to miss working with Ann. She's a great administrative assistant, and
Thank you, sir.
and I know that Supervisor-elect Kazari is keeping Ann on as his administrative assistant. So best of luck.
His first smart move.
Very smart
Or is
move. Yep. So Ann
Thank
does
you.
a wonderful job, and
Thank you.
I appreciate everything you've done for me.
But that's enough about me. Tonight it's about you.
Okay. All right.
So I want you to sit there and let me do a little talking tonight,
Okay.
okay?
All right, Ann.
So tonight we're making another chapter in the history of the town of Carmel. And although it's bittersweet, it's your last meeting serving as town supervisor. It would be most appropriate to recognize you, Supervisor, for the many years of dedicated service. 26 years as a police officer and 14 years as a town supervisor. As you can see, just by looking at the audience, it affirms the positive impact you made on this town.
Thank you, Ann. Thank
So
you.
without further ado, I'd like to bring up Senator Harkin, because he would like to honor you as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Ann.
And come to the center.
I actually thought I was here to talk about carp in the lake. I'm sorry, I didn't know this was a special night.
Hold on.
That one detail about Carl.
Kenny, I want to thank you for your service, and I want to thank you for your friendship. You know, when I was first elected 3 years ago, you were the first elected official, Democrat or Republican, who called me. You invited me up here. We spent 2 hours in your office together. We committed to working together, and we did. And we did a lot of work together. We worked on the park grant, $250,000 for the playground. We worked on the fish in the lake. We worked on traffic safety issues. We worked on DEP issues. And through that time, you are the consummate professional. You are a true gentleman. You know, and the fact that your former spouse is here, you know, I'm in a similar situation. My ex-wife now does fundraisers for me. So I don't know how that worked out, but you know, that does say something about you and your character. And so, you know, other people will talk about all the specific things you've done for the town, but 40 years of service, both in the police department as supervisor, is remarkable. No one will ever doubt your mark on this town. You can walk out of here with your head held high, with a lot of pride that you had a positive impact on every single resident in this town. And I just want to thank you for your friendship, for your collaboration. You're a heck of a guy, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Oops. All right, let me put this down. Oops.
God bless you. Senator Harkin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you've done for the town of Carmel as well.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This is wonderful.
All right, thank you. Frank, you want me to take the resolution? You're going to mail it to me.
No, I'll make it official. We're going to stamp it. We'll stamp it. I'll deliver it to you, but we need to have an official stamp on it, and I'll bring it over to you.
All right, good. And I'll come back seriously, and we can talk about that. I'll come
We
to
will.
another meeting.
I appreciate that.
Good, thank you.
Senator Harkin, thank you so much. God bless
Senator.
you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
God bless you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
being here. We're not finished yet. And now I'd like to bring up Assemblyman Byrne. He would like to present you with a proclamation honoring your town as supervisor and police officer. You got it.
All right.
Yes.
Yep. Kenny, to echo everything the senator said and that Ann has said, we want to thank you for your many, many years of service to the people in the town of Carmel, not just as the chief executive officer for the town of Carmel and serving as town supervisor, but for your many years of service as a police officer, keeping us safe. And I think it's actually pretty fitting that your last vote was to help New York State revisit what I believe was disastrous as the bail reform law. So I actually think that's pretty fitting considering your service as a police officer. So I want to thank you for that, and I'll continue to work
Kevin,
with you both.
that was done on purpose, just to let you know.
Good. I think it was very fitting. And we've done a lot together in the short time that we've been working together, but almost 6 years. When I was being in the state legislature, we worked together when I worked with Nan Hayworth in Congress. I remember working together on those issues. We helped bring back grants for the Carmel Police Department. Worked on some issues with you, Deputy Supervisor Susie McDonough and Frank, Carmel Water District 2, to try to get funding back for infrastructure projects. And at every step, I ever called you for something, you ever called me, it's just the first thing is you pick up the phone. You pick up the phone and then you get to business. And it's been a pleasure working with you. I want to thank you for your years of service again. Best of luck with whatever you decide to do next. And I will present you this proclamation on behalf of myself and my colleagues in the New York State Assembly. But in addition, and I always have to clarify this, not at taxpayer expense, I have a challenge coin for you to challenge you to continue your service to this great town. Congratulations.
Thank you, Assemblyman. And it wouldn't be complete without the county honoring you as well. And we have one of our legislators here that wants to honor you, Legislator Carl Albano.
Can, absolutely. Sure, thank you. On behalf of Putnam County Legislature, Mary Ellen Odell County Executive, I'd like to thank Kenny Schmidt for his service for more than 4 decades. I congratulate you on your accomplishments and the work that you've done, and we wish you best in the future. Ken, you've been a pleasure to deal with over the years on all county issues, town issues, just a gentleman, and we'll miss you dearly.
Thank you so much.
I wish you well.
I'll miss working with you as well.
Tonight we had legislative meetings. Legislator Amy Sage, Sullivan would like to be here. It was their committees tonight. But I'm honored to be here, and thank you for everything that you've done.
I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you for all that you do. Thank you so much.
Take that,
Thank you.
and take that.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, hang on to this. Thank you. Thanks so much, Will.
And last but not least, we have our Deputy Supervisor, Susie McDonough, who would like to present you with a special plaque.
I know, it's a special plaque. Kenny, before I get to the plaque, I just personally want to thank you. You've been an unbelievable supervisor, and when I came on the town board, the guidance that you gave me was great. It's really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Now I'm going to choke up. I'm going to need the tissues. But,
Here, hold on.
but what I'm really going to miss is our fights. You guys have to know every year during budget, he would walk out at least one time. But he got his German up, I got my Irish up, and that was it. But I do have to say we have matured over the last few years, and neither of us walked out. But thank you really from the bottom of my heart. And I know with Aiden and Mason and all the kids, you're going to have one heck of a life right now. It's going to be stress-free.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. So On behalf of the town board, town employees, and the entire town of Carmel, we want to thank you for your 14 years of dedicated service as our town supervisor. During your tenure, you have many accomplishments, and here are some recognitions, just to name a few. And just so you know, he's not going anywhere because we still have the master plan in Swan Cove to finish. So we want to thank you for keeping the town financially sound during the crash of 2008 and maintaining the town's AA1 credit rating. We want to thank you for getting us through the major hurricanes, snowstorms, and power outages, and other travesties. You were right out there delivering dry ice and water to the residents, as well as assisting to their needs. And as you know, Kenny, he just was not talk. He actually got out in the truck. I mean, it was amazing with his, the gloves coming up and the ice going. So thank you. You held this town together and kept the town departments running efficiently to serve the residents during the COVID shutdown in 2020. We want to thank you for keeping 9/11 alive with the beautiful memorial outside of Town Hall that you were instrumental in obtaining the artifacts and raising the money to build it. Kenny, you're leaving here with quite a legacy, and we hope this plaque is a reminder of the gratitude, love, and appreciation this town holds for you and for all you have given to the residents of the town of Carmel. Thank you, Kenny, and Godspeed as you begin your new milestone in life.
Thank you.
Town of Carmel acknowledges with deep gratitude Kenneth Schmidt for your 14 years of dedicated public service as town supervisor, January 1, 2008 through December 31, 2021.
This is beautiful. Thank you so much. It's beautiful. It really is. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
And I just have one more thing to say. And then before I let Councilman Shannell and Councilman Lombardi speak, I'd like to make a comment to you, Supervisor. And I want to leave you with a saying. If you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. And that is my wish for you, Kenny. A new, healthy, and a prosperous hello for the upcoming new year and the many years to follow. Thank you, Kenny. It's been an honor to be part of your team. It has been a great run, and I wish you God's choicest blessings on you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Councilman Shannell would like to come up and say a few words.
Hello? I'm going to be kind. Where should I start? I guess I should start when I first met Kenny and got involved with him, and he said he was going to run for town supervisor. So I said, well, we need to have a little meeting and figure out what we're going to do. So we met at Smalley's. What better place? It was close to home. And we wrote down his campaign strategy on the back of a napkin from the bar. And that's where it all began. So I guess those things were great, but I remember the first video that we had. And just want to thank you for the 2 years that I got to work with you. And work with a good guy, and you showed me a lot, and I appreciate it. Thank you, and all the best to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
And last but not least, Councilman Lombardi wanted to be last. And as you know why, you could see how short he speaks.
Yeah.
He's still got to work for at least 2 more years. Remember that. Mike, pay attention. Like we always follow 3 minutes, like the way Kenny's 3 minutes.
Mike, you started.
Anyway, you're not anywhere near. We've got a long time to go, my friend. Kenny, I wanted to speak last because there was many things I wanted to say to you, but I remember the first time we actually met and discussed potentially running for town board, and it was after an MSA March Madness game where I happened to play with the coaches, and it just so happened that Chris, your son, was playing against me, and I'm sorry he's not here tonight because he would verify that I pretty much dominated him in the paint. All 6'7" of him. But over the course of time, we worked together. We developed not only a working relationship, but a friendship. And it was pretty dramatic. And it was pretty rewarding for me, I could say that. And I want to thank you for the confidence you gave me in allowing you to serve as your deputy supervisor for 6 years. Susie was right. We had, most of the times it was just the two of them, to be honest with you. I don't want to verify anything that happens in executive session, but it was Susie and Kenny who always argued, and one of them always walked out. And one of us just closed the door after they left. You know, we were here till, and we all had our arguments. And we all argued for what we thought was the best for the town of Carmel. And at the end of the day, we compromised and we did what was best for the town of Carmel. Because as you can see, from 2009, when we faced a recession, the town has and continues to have a 1 AA bond rating, which is the highest bond rating around. And that's not a small feat, Kenny. And it was from your leadership on that. And I will always remember that the way you carried yourself in the great times that we had in our town. And we had some tragedies during your tenure as well. And you carried yourself as the face of the town of Carmel to those who needed consoling. You were there as well. Now, one of the things you'll always be remembered for, at least in my mind, and many others, probably the children, is that you are the supervisor that canceled Halloween. So you will go down for that. And yeah, so we made sure, the rest of us made sure that we pointed the finger at you. So it was your fault entirely. But in actuality, it was during Hurricane Sandy, and it was the right call to make. But that's okay. And you know what? And while we always argued on town issues and yelled and screamed, the one thing that I was always able to count on is your friendship, and I hope that will continue thereon. You know, and Kevin will attest to this, in scouting, one of the goals when we had camps, or when we went to camp, was that we had to leave the camp better than we found it. And I can say, based on what I've seen in my 10-year career here, that Kenny Schmidt has left the town of Carmel in a better position than he found it. So Kenny, we will miss you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you all, one and all, every one of you. Thank you, board. Thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. This is my swan song. This is it for me, at least for now, with the town of Carmel. I just want to say that it's been an honor and a privilege for me to serve as the town supervisor of this wonderful town of Carmel, a town that I grew up in. I was born at the Mahopac Hospital, not far from here, where the school administrative offices are now, and I spent my entire life here. Public service is part of my DNA. It's built into me. I think it is, and I know it is. You know, at an early age, I joined the Mahopac Fire Department at age 16. I'm a life member there now. And I graduated from Mahopac High School. Didn't know what I was going to do upon graduation, so I took the New York City Police Department exam and wrote real well on that, and I was hired by the NYPD in 1981. In 1982, Charlie Lewis, who was chief of police here at the time, said, Kenny, if you're hired by NYPD and you're good enough to work down there, you're good enough to work here in Carmel. And he gave me an opportunity to come to Carmel. It was a tested position. I did real well on it. I got a 97 on it, on the exam, so I was right at the top of the list. I think being in the NYPD Academy at the time that the exam was offered helped me with the score I got. So I came up here in '82, and I worked at the town of Carmel until 2007. But in between, as I said, public service is built into me. I served 3 terms on the Mahopac Board of Education as a trustee. So I served 9 years with the school district. And while I was a police officer in the town of Carmel, I did that. And in between them, I was raising 3 wonderful boys, 3 wonderful sons, Brett, Brad, and Chris. And I've enjoyed every moment of that. I've enjoyed every moment of my time here on the town board. And, I have 2 grandchildren now, Aiden and Mason. Aiden is, I believe, 19 months, Brett. And Mason is 3 months, and love the heck out of them. They're going to keep me busy, I'm sure. And it really warms my heart. Being a grandparent, if you're not a grandparent yet, when you do ever become a grandparent, you're going to know what I'm talking about. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. Nothing to compare to. So, that's something I'm looking forward to. But, where this all began, it began back in when I was a cop in Carmel. I wanted to retire. I was tired of working midnights. Midnights were horrible. I was still working midnights as a 48-year-old cop, and it was taking its toll on me, as it does a lot of cops that are, and I had 25 years on the job, so I needed to do something. So I retired from Carmel PD, and I was encouraged by some of my colleagues to run for town supervisor. They said, Kenny, I think you do a great job. You know this community, better than anyone does. So I think, why don't you run for town supervisor? And I said to this person, yeah, do you think I could win? They go, yeah, everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. You're a great guy. You may have pulled a lot of people over during your police career, but you never wrote them tickets. Mike Kazari can attest to that. I let everybody go. Not everybody, but, people let people go. They go, so you're well known. And you're a life member of the Mahopac Fire Department, and serving on the school board, everybody got to know you. So I had won elections. I won 3 elections to the school board. So it's not that I didn't run in the past. So I ran, and you know what? I thought I could win. I thought I could run and win. But my opponent was a 20-year town clerk, Connie Monday, and I felt terrible running against Connie. I really did, because she's a wonderful woman, and she was a town clerk. And when you're the town clerk, you don't piss anybody off. The town clerk makes everybody happy. You want a permit for something, you need a handicap permit, a fishing license, hunting license. She helps you with it. So Connie was very popular. But then she decided she was going to run for town supervisor, and she was elected. And it killed me to have to run against her, because I liked her so much, because I knew her very well. But I decided, I was going to do it. And I ran, and the rest is history. I won pretty handily, and I became the town supervisor in 2008. And Bob Shannell was right. Councilman Shannell was 100% correct. I met him up at Smalley's. I said, Bob, can you help me with my campaign, because I needed somebody from the Hamlet of Carmel to help with this campaign. I was well known in Mahopac, but Bob is well known in the Hamlet, and I needed somebody to help me with getting votes from the Hamlet, and Bob was the right guy. And we met at Smalley's, and he's right. We used a napkin and a pencil to write down, strategies for running for supervisor as an elected office. And we had our list, and Bob helped me with it, with my campaign. We executed it well. We got our message out there, and the voters supported me. So thank you for that, Bob.
Strangest things happen in bars.
Stranger things happen in bars. That's right. So it worked out really well. So when I took office in January of 2008, things were going well. But you all know what happened in September of 2008. The financial markets tanked. They collapsed. The housing market tanked. We were in a recession, the beginning of a recession. Well, we were in such a horrible economic recession starting in September of 2008. I just took office and I'm going, oh my God, this is a bad time for me to run for supervisor and take office as an elected official with the markets the way they are and the economy the way it was. It was horrible. So we had some tough years, but luckily for me and thankfully for me, I had Mary Ann Maxwell with me, all right? Mary Ann's the town comptroller, as you know, all right? So Mary Ann guided me through the recession, through the really tough times. You know, she gave me the best advice that she can give anyone. And she helped me prepare my budgets. And, you know, even though there were some tax increases that I wasn't happy about, we had to do it. We had no choice. I wanted to continue to provide the services because we're service providers to the taxpayers. Kevin, you know that, right? We're service providers, and we wanted to continue to provide an excellent service to the residents. And Mary Ann, I want to thank you for. Mary Ann's been with me for 14 years, the entire time, and she's been my go-to person from a fiscal standpoint. She knows the finances of this town. She watches your money, the taxpayers' money. And always keep her here. She's the right person for the job, and she got us through those tough times. So we have a fund balance. Guys, I'm really proud of this. We have a nearly $12 million fund balance in our reserves. $12 million. Mary Ann, that's because of your due diligence and your dedication as the town comptroller that we're at where we're at. And the board too. And I like to give credit when credit is due, Mary Ann, and credit is to you and the town board as well. So we had some tough times, and we got through them together, and, you know, I'm really proud of that. You know, when I first took office, I thought maybe I was going to do this job for maybe 6 years, maybe 8 years, which is 4 terms, because they're 2-year terms. And to be honest with you, they should be 4-year terms. Like all the other elected positions in the town of Carmel are 4-year terms. The supervisor should be a 4-year term as well. But, you know, when I got to my 4th term, and I want to thank the voters of the town of Carmel also. They're the ones who kept re-electing me. I kept running. I ran 7 times. I ran initially, and then I ran 6 subsequent terms, 2-year terms. So I didn't just stay for 8 years. I stayed for 14, and that's unbelievable. I have to pinch myself sometimes where, like, how the heck did I do this, and where did the 14 years go? Guys, it goes by like that. It does, you know, and, you know, I just kept serving, and I kept getting reelected and kept getting reelected, and I thank the voters for the trust and confidence, and all of you for your trust and confidence that you put in me for 7 terms and 14 years. I couldn't have done it without all of you. And the town wouldn't be anywhere where it's at. And I can't go through my list of accomplishments because we'd be here till, you know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, so much has been accomplished. So much has gotten done. I'm proud of my record. I'm proud of everything I've done, my accomplishments. I'm holding my head high, all right? I'm leaving here with pride and dignity and knowing that the town of Carmel is in a much, much better place than it was when I started. When I came here, our cars didn't have logos on them. We didn't have ID cards. There was none of that going on. I'm not disparaging any of my predecessors. They did great jobs also. But to know me is to know how I operate. I want to get things done. Get shit done. Sorry, but I like to GSD, get shit done, get stuff done. And I apologize for that. All right? And everybody can attest to that. I'm a hands-on guy. I don't sit in the office all day. I'm out in the field. I'm out there doing stuff. All right? I'm a visual learner, and I want to see how things are done. And I want to be part of that. And I did spend a lot of time in the field because that's me. I like to get my hands dirty, but I know there's a lot of work in the office. But I had Ann there, so I knew stuff was getting done. But that's just how I am. During the hurricanes, during the tornadoes, during the nor'easters that we got slammed with, when residents were out of power for weeks at a time, I used my own truck to go to NYSEG to pick up dry ice and water. We set up distribution points. Kevin, you know this, all right? I was out there. I was running from resident to resident to resident to resident, assuring them that power is going to be put back on, that NYSEG's out there working. If they needed help, call me. I was there for them. It was tough. We had our tragedies in the town of Carmel under my administration that I wish we didn't have. We had the Sullivan family up in the hamlet of Carmel tragically perished in a horrible, horrific house fire where 4 members of the family perished. They died in the fire. When I got that call from Mike Johnson, who was chief at the time, I knew Tommy Sullivan. He was a cop in Larchmont. He was a captain there, and his family died. I think there was one survivor, but it was horrible. So we had our tragedies, as Frank alluded to earlier. That was just one of them, but we had some others I'm not going to get into. But, we had our ups and downs. We had our good times and our bad times, and we got through that. We all got through that. I had a wonderful time here. Great experience for me. I've learned so much. I've learned a tremendous amount from being the town supervisor, things I would have never have learned if I didn't run for supervisor. So I got an education, too, on how municipal government works. I know how it works. I know how to go out and find the money. Grants from Assemblyman Byrne, grants from Senator Harkin. I did what I had to do. I pounded the pavement, got things done. So it's been wonderful. I've met so many good people. Joel and I have developed a friendship over the years. Joel, thanks so much for supporting me and everything you've done for the town of Carmel. I know, I'm almost finished. Nobody can kick me right now. No, I'm almost finished, but nobody can kick me right now. So we've done some things. I've done some things. This board has done some things. We've made some bold decisions. We've made some decisions, and we made them. But the way I worked in government, the way I operated was I did things for the greater good. I did, so were there folks not happy with me? You bet. There's folks not happy with me. There's folks that I knew that I got along with that don't call me anymore because the decisions that were made that we had to make, that I had to make, they weren't popular. You don't make popular decisions sometimes in this job. You have to make decisions that are for the greater good. We bought Swan Cove. Boy, did I take heat from that. Boy, did I get beat up for that, all right? You spent too much money on it. But it was 220 feet of lakefront property that if we let it go, we would never have gotten it back. Somebody would have bought it and developed it. That's going to be a beautiful park. Swan Cove, when it's built out, is going to be a beautiful downtown lakeside park. Municipal parking, we bought the bank parcels. So, you don't, in this job, you don't make, I hate to say it, but you lose friends, all right? And it's unfortunate, but I have lost friends because of this job. And, maybe one day those people, I can shake their hand again and we could be friends again. But have I made mistakes? You bet I have. But you know what? You learn from your mistakes. You learn from the mistakes. Board, we made mistakes, but we've learned from those mistakes, all right? I'll speak personally for myself. I know I have. But when you make a mistake, you learn from it. Going forward, then you do things differently, all right? I regret doing some things, but they were done, and, it's just how it is. So, again, it's been wonderful. I had a great time here. I wouldn't change it for anything, all right? I always worked with passion, and when you do things with passion, you have the best outcome. Be passionate about what you do, and you'll always have a good outcome. And I just want to say, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving town. This isn't the end of Kenny Schmidt, all right? There's going to be another chapter in my life. There's going to be another journey that I'm going to go on. I'm not retiring, by no means. I'm 64. I'm not ready to retire. I think I'm a young 64, all right? So I'm not retiring. There'll be another chapter, and you'll all maybe part of that one day, part of that chapter. But I'll be out there. If you ever need me, you know where to find me. But I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to serve as supervisor, and continue doing what you're doing. My managers that are here and my staff that's here, keep working hard. Don't ever get disappointed, and always try to raise the bar. All right, don't ever accept status quo. Never, never, never. Always try to raise the bar in your lives. All right, work hard to achieve that, and you will achieve it. I did that. I think I've achieved a lot in my life, and I'm happy for that. But continue to work hard and strive for excellence in whatever you do. And I know you guys do, but continue to do that. This town's in a good place. It's in a good position. We have wonderful people working for us. We have wonderful boards. Craig on the planning board, Ray on the planning board. All of our administrative boards do a wonderful job for you. All of our staff does a wonderful job. Our elected officials, Kathleen Kraus has been with me the entire time. Kathleen, thank you for everything. One other gentleman I don't want to leave out of this is that guy. Right there. Brother, this guy right here has been with me from day one. Thank you, Greg. In this job, you need a good attorney. You need a good lawyer. He's the best municipal attorney that I know in the business. The best. I don't think there's anybody better. And I had him as my attorney for 14 years. Greg, thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, we did. We met at the Carmel Diner. We met at the diner. It wasn't Smalley's. It was 2 doors away. It was. And the two of the best moves I made when I was elected supervisor. One was him, appointing him as the town council, my town council. And the other one was right over there, Ann Pasquarella. All right. Give her a round of applause. There's nobody better than Ann. She knows where all the skeletons are buried. She is wonderful. The best administrative assistant that I've ever met, that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And I mean that, Ann. I'm going to miss you in the office. And you've had my back for all these years. And I was able to do and accomplish what I've done because of you. All right, so thank you, Annie. And I'm quite confident that my successor, Mike Kazari, is going to keep both of them. And he's going to keep Greg as a counselor and as administrative assistant. 2 excellent moves, Mike. You can't go wrong with that. You really can't. Very smart. And this one right here, the town controller, Mary Ann Maxwell. So with that, I know I've been speaking a while. Michelle, I have my 2 really good friends here, John Deegan and Michelle, his wife, Michelle. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And my friend Kevin, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for all your support over the years. And thank all of you. And once again, God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll be seeing you guys around town, I'm sure. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks all of you, and let's end by just saying God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America, greatest country in the world. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Kenny,
Joanna, thank you.
Supervisor, you have one last motion to do.
we have
It's
to
adjourn
close the meeting.
Yeah, we have to adjourn the meeting, so I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Shannell. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Good night.